My name is Grace Munduru, and I work as the head of programs at ActionAid International Uganda. In terms of where we go with the conversation on social protection, today we've had varied input from different sectors like private sector, academia, government, civil society, and one thing has come out very strongly, that there are opportunities across sector for us to leverage to strengthen interventions in social protection. Each sector presented their approach, their strength, and some of the work that they're already doing in social protection. And I don't think we've done enough to leverage on one another's strength to improve the state of social protection. And I also don't think we've shared enough learnings from some of the work that we're doing that would otherwise help to strengthen how we approach issues around social protection. The available data is not being adequately used, for example, to influence policy. Most of our policies are data blind, and so the interventions then are not really rooted in the realities of our communities. So I believe that if we use data and approaches across sectors, we would have more informed policies, and would also be really having a collective voice towards advocacy, especially evidence-based advocacy. I've learned today about the work that private sector, for example, is doing. And I know that private sector, being a very big investor in Uganda's economy, could do even a lot more if they were directed towards some of the gaps that right now exist. Given that civil society is under threat in terms of the fluid funding environment, shrinking civic space, things that threaten the work that they do. I think that is where the private sector can complement the work that civil society is already doing. So if tomorrow a funding entity wakes up and withdraws funding that will significantly affect some of the work that is being done by civil society, you can be sure that the private sector that is rooted in communities and tapping into the informal sector can sustain such efforts. But also having conversations around, what are we learning in terms of sustainable approaches. Government in itself is not investing enough in social protection, in my opinion, because Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, that is at the core of driving work around social protection in terms of their mandate, is underfunded. And so I think that we need to start having honest conversations about how do we budget in terms of priority. If we're really serious about social protection, we have all the data in terms of how many people we have across, gender, age, and different considerations, and so how is government prioritizing that in the way they budget? How are we monitoring that, and how do we want to improve that so that the next time we're advocating for budgets, especially increased budgetary allocation towards social protection, it is based on our learnings, it's based on realities from the other sectors, it's also based on data that can be verifiable across the country.